Have you ever paused for a second in the middle of your day and thought, am I really doing everything I can to stay healthy? It's a tough question, I know. But when it comes to stroke prevention, it's one we need to ask ourselves, especially after the age of 60. Every day in my practice, I meet people who say, "Doctor, I feel fine. I don't have any big health problems." And yet, beneath the surface, small daily habits are quietly pushing them toward a future they never imagined. There's a false sense of security that comes with time. After living 6 decades or more, many people start to believe that if nothing serious has happened by now, they're in the clear. But the human body doesn't work that way. It keeps a detailed memory of everything: what you ate, how much you moved, the stress you carried, the sleep you missed. And when it comes to strokes, this memory accumulates risk factors over years, sometimes decades, until one day, it all shows up at once. Have you ever wondered how many of your current habits might be feeding that silent risk? The reality is that strokes rarely happen without warning. Sure, the event itself feels sudden, like an unexpected lightning strike. But behind that dramatic moment, there's usually a long history of small, repeated behaviors that slowly damage the blood vessels in the brain. This is not about scaring you. It's about opening your eyes. More than 80% of strokes could be prevented with simple, consistent changes in lifestyle. That means the power to reduce your risk is largely in your hands. Would you like to know which everyday actions are quietly raising your stroke risk? Let's start with one of the most underestimated dangers: prolonged sitting. Sounds innocent, doesn't it? Sitting on the couch to watch your favorite show, spending hours at the computer or reading the newspaper. But here's what most people don't realize. Long periods without movement cause your blood flow to slow down, increasing the chance of blood clots forming in your legs. And when those clots travel to your brain, the result can be a devastating stroke. Studies show that people who sit more than 8 hours a day without frequent breaks have a 30% higher risk of stroke. Do you often go hours without getting up and stretching? Another silent threat is dehydration. As we age, our sensation of thirst naturally decreases. That means many seniors simply forget to drink enough water throughout the day. When your body lacks proper hydration, your blood becomes thicker and more prone to clotting. And that thick, sluggish blood is exactly what doctors worry about when it comes to stroke risk. Several studies have shown a strong connection between chronic low water intake and increased risk of ischemic strokes, especially in older adults. When was the last time you drank a full glass of water just because your body needed it? High blood pressure, often called the silent killer, deserves special attention here. It's the #1 modifiable risk factor for stroke. And yet, millions of people over 60 either don't know they have it or aren't treating it effectively. The scary part is that hypertension often shows no obvious symptoms. No pain, no dizziness, no warning until it's too late. That's why regular monitoring and proper medication adherence are so crucial. Do you know what your latest blood pressure reading was? When was the last time you checked? Now let's talk about salt. It's so easy to overlook, right? Just a little sprinkle here, a pinch there. But excess salt in your diet leads directly to higher blood pressure, making your arteries stiffer and more prone to blockages or rupture. The World Health Organization recommends no more than 5 grams of salt per day. That's less than a teaspoon. But surveys show that most adults consume double or even triple that amount daily. Be honest. How often do you add salt to your food before even tasting it? Sleep is another factor people rarely connect to stroke risk. Both too little and too much sleep can be harmful. Research shows that sleeping less than 6 hours or more than 9 hours per night significantly increases stroke risk. Why? Because poor sleep disrupts the body's ability to regulate blood pressure and blood sugar, both of which play a major role in stroke prevention. One large study published in the journal Neurology found that irregular sleep patterns could raise stroke risk by up to 70%. Are you waking up feeling rested or dragging through your days in a fog of exhaustion? Blood sugar control is another critical piece of the puzzle. High blood sugar damages blood vessels from the inside, making them more likely to clog over time. The problem is that many older adults are walking around with undiagnosed prediabetes or diabetes and don't even realize it. They assume the frequent urination, blurred vision, or constant fatigue are just part of getting older. But these could be your body's way of sounding an alarm. Have you had your blood sugar checked lately? And then there's chronic stress, the invisible storm happening inside your body. Emotional tension, financial worries, family pressures, all of these trigger a chemical response that raises cortisol and adrenaline levels. Over time, this leads to higher blood pressure, increased inflammation, and a greater tendency for your blood to clot. It's like your body is always stuck in fight or flight mode. Do you often feel overwhelmed, irritable, or like you can't fully relax even on quiet days? Another habit that often flies under the radar is skipping breakfast. You might think, it's no big deal. I'm not even hungry in the morning. But research shows that people who regularly skip breakfast have a higher risk of developing hypertension, high cholesterol, and insulin resistance, all of which are key contributors to stroke risk. When you wake up and don't fuel your body, your blood sugar levels swing unpredictably, and your blood vessels become more stressed throughout the day. Have you fallen into the habit of starting your day with just coffee and nothing else? Let's not forget smoking, even if it's just a few cigarettes a day. Tobacco damages the lining of your blood vessels, making them more prone to clots and narrowing over time. Even light smokers have a significantly higher risk of stroke compared to non-smokers. And here's something many people don't realize. After just 5 years of quitting, your stroke risk drops by nearly half. It's never too late to stop. Are cigarettes still part of your daily routine? Now, here's something a bit surprising to most people. Excessive alcohol consumption. I'm not talking about occasional social drinking. I'm referring to the habit of having 2 or more drinks daily, which over time raises your blood pressure and weakens your heart muscle. Alcohol also makes your blood more prone to clotting, another direct path toward a potential stroke. Many older adults believe a couple of drinks each night help them relax, but in reality, they're slowly adding to their vascular risk. Have you ever stopped to count how many drinks you've had this week? Another invisible risk comes from high cholesterol levels, especially when left unmanaged. Cholesterol can build up in your arteries, forming plaques that narrow the blood flow to your brain. If one of these plaques ruptures, it can trigger a clot and cause a stroke. The worst part? High cholesterol often has no symptoms until it's already done significant damage. Do you know what your last cholesterol numbers were? When was your last lipid panel? We also need to talk about physical inactivity. It's not just about sitting too long. It's about not moving enough throughout your entire day. Regular movement helps keep your blood vessels flexible and your blood pressure in check. The World Health Organization recommends at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week for older adults. That's just 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Even walking counts. Have you been making time for movement in your daily routine? Obesity is another factor that links directly to stroke risk. Excess body fat, especially around the waist, triggers inflammation and hormonal changes that damage your blood vessels over time. Studies show that people with a body mass index, BMI, over 30 are at much higher risk of both ischemic and hemorrhagic strokes. And losing even a modest amount of weight, just 5 to 10% of your body weight, can make a big difference in lowering your risk. Have you checked your weight recently? Is it where you want it to be? Diet plays a huge role as well. A pattern of eating processed foods high in saturated fats, trans fats, and added sugars increases your risk dramatically. Fast food, frozen meals, sugary snacks, they all contribute to high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and insulin resistance. On the other hand, diets rich in fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and healthy fats, like the Mediterranean diet, are proven to lower stroke risk. How often does your plate feature colorful, fresh foods instead of packaged options? Neglecting regular medical checkups is another silent contributor. Many stroke risk factors, like high blood pressure, diabetes, and cholesterol, don't cause noticeable symptoms early on. That's why routine screenings are essential. Simple blood tests, a blood pressure check, and even a conversation with your doctor about your lifestyle can catch problems before they escalate. When was your last full health check? Can you even remember? Let's not underestimate social isolation and loneliness. Believe it or not, several studies have linked chronic loneliness to higher stroke risk. When people withdraw from social activities, they often become less active, eat poorly, and experience higher levels of depression and stress, all of which affect cardiovascular health. Staying socially connected isn't just good for your mood, it's vital for your physical health. How often do you reach out to friends, family, or neighbors for a chat or a walk? And finally, poor medication adherence is an often overlooked danger. So many older adults have prescriptions for blood pressure, cholesterol, or diabetes medications, but forget doses, skip days, or stop taking them altogether without consulting their doctor. This inconsistency allows their risk factors to spiral out of control. Consistency matters more than you realize. Are you taking your medications exactly as prescribed? When we put all these factors together, sedentary lifestyle, poor diet, unmanaged blood pressure, smoking, stress, and so on, it paints a clear picture. Stroke risk isn't about just one thing. It's about the combination of small daily choices. And this is exactly why so many people get caught off guard. They think, well, I don't smoke, so I must be fine. Or, I eat healthy, so missing a few doctor's appointments won't hurt. But stroke prevention is like a puzzle. Every piece matters. Have you ever considered how all these small pieces are fitting together in your own life? The problem with these silent daily habits is that they don't cause immediate pain. High blood pressure doesn't make your head hurt every day. High cholesterol doesn't make your chest ache while you eat. Skipping meals or sleeping poorly doesn't send out warning signals right away. And because there's no discomfort, most people keep going, repeating the same patterns until the damage has already been done. How? Many times have you told yourself, I'll make changes next month, or after the holidays I'll start taking care of myself. I often tell my patients, your blood vessels are like delicate garden hoses. Day after day, if you're adding too much pressure, filling them with thick, sluggish blood, or leaving them clogged with cholesterol, they start to weaken. Some areas balloon out, others get narrow and stiff, and over time, the risk of rupture or blockage becomes dangerously high. The scary part? You won't feel any of this happening until one day the blood flow to your brain is suddenly cut off. Have you thought about what that would mean for your independence, your memory, your ability to speak or walk? Let's talk briefly about what a stroke actually looks like when it strikes. Within minutes, brain cells start dying. You might suddenly lose strength on one side of your body, struggle to speak, feel confused, or even collapse without warning. Every second counts. The faster treatment begins, the better the chance of survival and recovery. But wouldn't it be better to avoid getting to that point altogether? Prevention is still the most powerful medicine we have. Do you know the warning signs of a stroke? Could you recognize them in yourself or a loved one? The truth is, most strokes fall into two categories: ischemic and hemorrhagic. Ischemic strokes happen when a blood clot blocks a vessel in the brain. Hemorrhagic strokes occur when a vessel bursts, leading to bleeding inside the brain. Both are medical emergencies. Both can change your life in an instant. And both are strongly linked to the very daily habits we've been talking about. Have you ever imagined how your life could change after a stroke? It's a hard image to face, but it's necessary. I've seen it firsthand. People who were completely independent one day and suddenly unable to dress themselves or hold a conversation the next. Families turned upside down overnight. Spouses becoming caregivers. Children rearranging their lives to support a parent who can no longer drive, cook, or even remember their names. These aren't distant, rare stories. This is happening every day in every hospital, in every city. Have you ever thought about how your family would cope if something like this happened to you? But here's the good news. It's not too late. Even if you recognize some of these risky habits in yourself right now, change is possible. The body has an incredible ability to heal and adapt. When we start making better choices, blood pressure can come down, cholesterol levels can improve, blood sugar can stabilize, Even damaged blood vessels can regain some flexibility over time. But the key is starting now, not next year, not when it's convenient. Now, are you ready to take that first step? Small changes add up. Swapping processed foods for fresh fruits and vegetables. Setting a reminder to drink water regularly. Taking a short walk after lunch instead of sitting down to watch TV. Scheduling that doctor's appointment you've been putting off. Taking your medication exactly as prescribed. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. It starts with one action, repeated daily. Which small change could you start today? I know that thinking about stroke risk can feel scary, maybe even overwhelming. But fear shouldn't paralyze you. It should motivate you. The real danger isn't in acknowledging the risk. The real danger is ignoring it. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. What matters is consistency. One good choice at a time. One healthy habit replacing an old, risky one. Which habit do you feel most ready to tackle first? And if you're feeling lost about where to begin, talk to your doctor. That's what we're here for. To help you understand your risks, to run the right tests, to guide you through manageable lifestyle changes, and when needed, to adjust your medications. Don't wait for symptoms to appear. Don't wait for a health scare. The best time to take control of your stroke risk is before anything happens. Are you willing to take that step for yourself? One thing I always tell my patients is this: you don't need to be perfect to make progress. Perfection is paralyzing. It makes people think, if I can't change everything, why bother changing anything? But stroke prevention doesn't work like that. Even small improvements, done consistently, lower your risk over time. Reducing your salt intake by half, walking just 10 extra minutes a day, drinking one more glass of water. These actions matter. Which tiny step could you start with today? Another point that often surprises people is how quickly the body starts responding to positive changes. Within a few weeks of better eating, regular physical activity, and proper hydration, blood pressure levels can start to drop, cholesterol numbers improve, sleep becomes more restorative, and mood often lifts too. I've seen patients who, after years of neglect, turned their health around in just a couple of months. Not by doing anything extreme, but by being consistent. Can you imagine how you'd feel in just 30 days of making healthier choices? Let's take a moment to talk about family history. Yes, genetics do play a role in stroke risk. If your parents or siblings have had a stroke, your risk is higher. But that's not a life sentence. Lifestyle choices can dramatically outweigh genetic risk. I've seen patients with strong family histories who, by staying active, eating well, and controlling their blood pressure, lived well into their 80s and 90s without ever experiencing a stroke. Do you know your family's health history? Have you talked about it with your doctor? Managing your emotional health is just as important as taking care of your body. Chronic anxiety, untreated depression, and high levels of ongoing stress don't just affect your mood. They increase inflammation in your body, disrupt your heart rhythm, and raise your blood pressure. Simple practices like mindfulness, breathing exercises, and even spending time with loved ones can reduce stress hormones significantly. When was the last time you did something just to relax and recharge? Sleep hygiene deserves another mention. Beyond the number of hours you sleep, the quality of that sleep is crucial. Do you wake up multiple times at night? Do you snore loudly? These could be signs of sleep apnea, a condition where breathing stops briefly during sleep, lowering oxygen levels and increasing stroke risk. Sleep apnea is often underdiagnosed in older adults. If your partner has noticed loud snoring, or if you wake up feeling like you barely slept, it's time to get evaluated. Have you ever been tested for sleep apnea? Let's also talk about blood sugar monitoring, even for people who haven't been diagnosed with diabetes. Many adults over 60 have prediabetes without knowing it. Routine fasting glucose tests or A1C tests can catch this early. Early detection means you can reverse the trend with lifestyle changes before it progresses to full-blown diabetes, reducing your stroke risk in the process. When was your last blood sugar check? Could it be time for another one? Another factor that often goes unnoticed is atrial fibrillation, a type of irregular heartbeat. It may feel like palpitations or skipped beats, but sometimes people feel nothing at all. This condition increases stroke risk fivefold because it allows blood to pool and form clots inside the heart, which can then travel to the brain. A simple ECG test at your doctor's office can detect it. Have you ever had your heart rhythm checked? Hydration, diet, exercise, stress, sleep, medication adherence, blood sugar control, and regular checkups. These aren't isolated issues. They're all connected, creating either a protective shield around your brain or, if neglected, laying down the tracks for a future stroke. The power of prevention lies exactly in this holistic approach. Are you looking at your health as a whole? Or focusing only on parts? I know it can feel overwhelming to hear all of this at once, but here's the perspective I always share. Every day is a new chance to reduce your risk. Every meal, every walk, every glass of water, every hour of good sleep, it all counts. You're not powerless in this process, quite the opposite. The decisions you make today are shaping your health outcomes for tomorrow. What small victory could you create for yourself by the end of today? Before I wrap up, I want to emphasize this one last point. Stroke prevention isn't about fear. It's about empowerment. It's about taking back control over your health, even after 60, even after years of less than ideal habits. It's about choosing to invest in your future self, the one who wants to stay independent, active, and present for the people you love. Are you ready to make that investment? Sometimes people tell me, "Doctor, at my age, isn't it too late to change?" And every time I answer with the same certainty, no, it's never too late. The human body is incredibly resilient. Even small lifestyle changes at 60, 70, or even 80 can reduce your risk of stroke and improve your quality of life. I've seen patients who started walking daily at 75 and saw their blood pressure normalize. Others who improved their diets and lowered their cholesterol within months. What makes the difference is the decision to start. Have you made that decision yet? Think about this. Every stroke that doesn't happen is a future birthday celebrated, a family gathering enjoyed, a memory created. It's being able to hold your grandchild, travel, dance at a wedding, or simply enjoy your morning coffee without fear. Prevention isn't just about avoiding disease. It's about preserving moments, independence, and dignity. What life moment are you most looking forward to protecting? Let's also talk about the people who care about you. Your spouse, your children, your friends. They all want you to stay healthy. Sometimes, making changes for ourselves feels hard, but doing it for the people we love can give us that extra push. Imagine their relief knowing you're taking steps to lower your risk. Imagine how proud they'll be to see you making healthier choices. Who's someone in your life that would cheer you on in this journey? And remember, it's okay to ask for help. Whether it's scheduling a nutrition consultation, joining a walking group, asking your pharmacist about your medications, or even reaching out to friends for accountability. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of wisdom. No one prevents a stroke alone. Your doctor, your family, your community. We're all part of your support network. Have you thought about who you could reach out to today? If you're not sure where to begin, start by tracking your daily habits. Write down how much water you drink, how much you move, what you eat, how you're sleeping, and whether you're taking your medications properly. Sometimes just seeing it all on paper helps. Identify small areas for improvement. Could today be the day you start that health journal? Also, take 5 minutes today to schedule any overdue health checkups. Blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol levels, and heart rhythm. All these can be checked quickly at your clinic. These tests might reveal hidden risks you weren't aware of. Knowledge is power, and early detection saves lives. When was your last full health screening? Another simple but powerful tip. Set reminders on your phone to move every hour, drink water, and take your medications. Technology can be a great ally when it comes to building new habits. There are even free apps that help track physical activity and hydration. Have you tried using technology to support your health goals? And don't underestimate the value of emotional health check-ins. Take time every day to breathe deeply, call a friend, enjoy nature, or do something that makes you smile. Reducing stress isn't just about feeling good. It's about protecting your heart and brain from the silent damage that chronic tension creates. When was the last time you truly relaxed? In closing, I want to leave you with this. Stroke prevention is a journey, not a one-time fix. Every choice you make today echoes into your future. The small decisions, what you eat, how you move, how you manage stress, are like bricks building the foundation of your long-term health. You have more control than you think. What's the next small step you're willing to take? If this message resonated with you, please don't keep it to yourself. Share this information with someone you care about. Let's spread awareness together. Let's help more people avoid the pain and disability that a stroke can bring. The best time to act is now. Your brain, your body, your future self, they're all counting on you. And remember, this content is educational. It doesn't replace a personalized medical consultation. If you have concerns about your stroke risk, talk to your doctor. Together, you can build a prevention plan that fits your life. Stay well, stay aware, stay proactive. Your health is your greatest asset, and it's worth every effort to protect it.